everybody? Matt with Trufam Drainage. So we're out here on another project. Gonna get started. Customer right now, they have a sump system, and this system doesn't have any pipes. We believe going into it. Actually, it does. It has this one here, and that one there. But they're not draining properly because they're clogged up with stuff, because there's no type of basins for the sediment or cleanouts for the downspouts. Also, this pump that's in here is tiny. The basin itself, the sump itself, is too small for the volume of water that they're getting here. So during the storms last year, all this down here got water just pooling up against there and ended up coming in the foundation. You can see in the stucco there's cracks and stuff, which is a sign of poor drainage, which causes settling in the foundation. And so what we're going to do is we're going to rip out all these rocks down along the side here, and we're going to dig it down. We're going to expose that foundation, and we're going to clean it, and then we're going to do a rubberized coating there to waterproof it. And then we're going to install one of our foundation drains along here, and then we're going to install one of our big boy sumps in here. When we get done, I will take a bunch of pictures and photos to share with everybody so you can see how we do it.
Today we're kicking off a brand new drainage and waterproofing project. And like all good builds, it starts with the groundwork. The first step is trenching along the foundation and removing the old landscape rock. But we won't be hauling it away. The homeowner chose this decorative rock, and it's still in great shape. So we'll be setting it aside carefully and reusing it later as the finishing touch on top of the new French drain. That way, the system works like it should, and the yard keeps its polished look. As we dig deeper, we're uncovering the old drainage system, and it's a textbook example of why poor materials and shortcuts don't last. The system was built with cheap socked pipe that's already clogged with debris. One of the downspouts was tied directly into that perforated pipe, dumping roof water right against the foundation instead of carrying it away. On top of that, the installer used a heavy-duty weed barrier in place of proper drainage fabric. That kind of material isn't designed to let water flow through. It actually blocks it. Over time, it turned the system into a dam instead of a drain, and it even made trenching more difficult when we opened up the yard. And the problems didn't stop there. Off camera, we found that the outlet for the French drain was completely buried under dirt and grass, so water had nowhere to go. The line itself was run all the way through the front yard in perforated pipe, which just let water leach into the soil. Instead of drying the yard, it left the entire front lawn soggy while still letting water pool around the foundation. Now that the old failing system is being cleared out and the trench opened up, we can start preparing the foundation for the next steps, where the real transformation begins. With the decorative rock safely set aside, we're moving down into the old drainage layer. What we've found here is a mix of crushed concrete used in place of proper drainage stone. And that's a big part of why this system failed. Crushed concrete tends to pack down tight and hold on to fine particles, which limits water flow instead of encouraging it. Over time, it clogs up and turns into more of a barrier than a pathway for water to escape. Mixed in with it is the old drainage pipe, still wrapped in its failing fabric sock. It's full of dirt and debris, with little to no open space left for water to pass through. This is exactly the opposite of how a foundation drain should perform. Instead of collecting and moving water away, it was trapping it right here along the wall. By carefully removing all of this material, we're not just making room for the new system. We're also making sure that nothing from the old, failed design will interfere with the fresh start. Once this trench is fully cleared, we'll have a clean slate to build a system that actually does what it's supposed to. Keep water away from the home and out of the yard. With the old foundation drain fully removed, it's clear why it never worked as intended. The trench was filled with crushed concrete that had compacted tightly with dirt over time, leaving almost no room for water to flow. The old socked pipe was just as clogged, a solid barrier instead of a pathway. On top of that, the trench itself never went deep enough. Without reaching below the foundation, water couldn't naturally fall into the pipe and flow toward the outlet. Instead, it found its way along the wall, seeping into cracks where the foundation meets the footing. And because the trench wasn't pitched properly, even clean water wouldn't have moved efficiently. It would have just pooled, saturating the soil and creating more problems. Now, with all the old materials out of the way, we're exposing the foundation fully. This gives us a clean slate to work with and ensures the next steps, cleaning, crack repairs, and waterproofing, will actually make a difference. By starting fresh and building the system correctly, we're taking the first real steps toward keeping the home dry and protecting the foundation long term. In this stage, we're removing the old small sump basin and pump, which simply didn't have the capacity needed for this home's drainage demands. We're excavating for our large sump basin and the added 4-foot chamber, and all the foundation drains, downspout connections, and even the channel drain will tie directly into this main basin. To build it correctly, we first line the excavation with high-quality drainage fabric, then install the basin and chamber with carefully graded bottoms and ends. This ensures that water naturally flows into the basin and then drains into the surrounding soil after a rain event, allowing the system to function like a dry well. The combined basin and chamber provide over 500 gallons of water storage. This large capacity is not just for everyday rain, it's a critical safeguard in the event of a power outage or pump failure during heavy rainfall. The bigger the storage, the less frequently the pump cycles on and off. Smaller basins force the pump to start and stop repeatedly, which shortens its lifespan and increases wear and tear. By building this system with proper grading, a dry well-style design, and plenty of storage, we're creating a sump system that's durable, efficient, and reliable, designed to protect the home now and for many years to come. With the foundation fully cleaned, repaired, and sealed with our rubberized waterproofing coating and the new sump basin and pump installed, we can now finish off the French drain. This step is all about precision and longevity. We meticulously close the drainage system by stitching the fabric shut with stainless steel fasteners. This keeps the system enclosed so it can filter water effectively while keeping dirt and sediment out. Cutting corners here is one of the biggest reasons other drains fail, but done correctly, it ensures clean water flow for years to come. As we seal the fabric, we add clean drainage rock inside the French drain. The rock not only directs water efficiently to the pipe, but also gives it space to collect and filter before moving into the sump system. On top of that, we add another layer of drainage rock for stability and flow. Finally, we finish with the homeowner's decorative landscape rock. This way, the system doesn't just perform at a high level, it also blends seamlessly into the yard's appearance. With the waterproofing, sump basin, and French drain all working together, this system is designed to protect the foundation and manage stormwater the right way, reliable, efficient, and built to last. Next, we tackled what turned out to be the hardest part of this project: digging the trench for the drainage basins that run along the back wall of the property. The soil back here was extremely compacted, and to make things even tougher, the ground was packed with palm roots. Even though the palm trees had been removed long ago, their root systems were still very much alive underground, running across the entire backstretch of the property. Each section had to be carefully cut and cleared just to make room for the trench. Despite the obstacles, we made sure to pitch the trench properly so that water would flow as it should. The line wraps around the side of the property and ties directly into the sump system, giving all that trapped water a proper outlet. This was a crucial fix because water had been collecting for years between the back wall and the grass. The thick St. Augustine grass was holding that water in place, creating soggy conditions and poor drainage. With this new trench and drainage system, that standing water finally has somewhere to go, keeping the yard drier, healthier, and much easier to maintain. With the back wall trench open, we shape the bottom to a steady fall toward the sump basin, checking with a level at regular intervals to keep the slope consistent from end to end. Once the grade is dialed in, we set the solid PVC line directly along that contour so the pipe follows the fall we just created. We keep the run clean and streamlined with longer sections and tight glued joints, then verify the slope again. No bellies, no high spots, just a smooth path to the basin. Now we close the trench. We return the native soil in stages, pulling it in around the pipe and firming each layer with shovel work and a few deliberate steps. This seats the soil, helps the surface hold its shape, and keeps the line supported without disturbing the slope we set. With the soil brought back to grade, we rake everything smooth and finish the surface with the homeowner's decorative rock so the area blends right back into the landscape. This back wall and side run is now in place and ready for the next phase, where we'll make the tie-ins and bring the whole system together. With the trench along the side of the property complete, we can now tie everything together into the sump system. This includes running the side trench directly into the basin, as well as connecting both rear downspouts and the channel drain. To protect the system long-term, we install sediment basins at each connection point. These basins act like traps, catching dirt, leaves, and other debris before it can ever reach the sump pump. At the downspouts, we also add specialized filters designed to capture fine debris that comes down from the roof. Together, these layers of protection keep the system flowing freely and help prevent costly clogs in the future. This final section completes the underground drainage network, tying in the downspouts, channel drain, French drain, and sump basin into one efficient, long-lasting solution. Every drop of water now has a clear path away from the home's foundation. Up next, we'll walk you through the finished system so you can see how everything came together.
Hey, what's up everybody? It's Matt with Trufam Drainage, and we are out here on a project in St. Pete, and I just want to do a quick little walkthrough. This is a project that we completed a couple months ago, and just back out here revisiting. So with this one here, we have one of our big boy sumps back here. I'll take you back there and walk you to, and then we have a 6-inch pop-up with concrete border on it. Doing that concrete border just helps to keep erosion control, and doing the 6-inch helps mellow it out so it's not so much pressure coming out at the end. On this system here, we tied in the downspouts, and this is all a foundation drain. We did a waterproofing coating along the foundation, and this underneath this rock here has 2 of our 4-inch high flow perforated pipes for our French drains, and plenty of drainage rock, and then they covered back over the top with some of the decorative rock. This here is our sump system. It's filling up right now. I got it unplugged so that way we can see the full flow in action. Along the back here, we also have a couple more downspouts that were tied in. We have a sediment basin here to capture the dirt and debris from the channel drain that is also tied in. And then along the back here, we have more of our basins to capture water. A lot of times with the St. Augustine grass, when it's builds up so thick that the water is not able to drain past it. So she was having problems with water sitting in between the wall and the grass back here. So we added some of our basins to alleviate some of that water along the back wall. With this channel drain, because there was some tight corners that we weren't able to get around even with our smaller hose, we went ahead and added some access doors. So you got one here and here. So these access doors allow us to be able to get around the corners and clean it out, and then afterwards you can't even tell that it was there. These doors also allow for it to flush it out a little bit better with the hose than trying to just go up through the top. Sometimes, that'll help with the maintenance on the system for the channel drains, with flushing it out with the hose so you don't have to jet it as often to get everything out. I'm gonna go ahead here and plug this in so we can see this sump, how quickly it's gonna drain. So this sump, not only do we have this large chamber here that the pump is in, there's also another chamber off this way here as well, just for that added volume. Sorry, I can't think today. It is super hot, and we've been out here. So let's get this turned on. So this water here is just draining right straight through that rock into the system. And this is that 130 gallons a minute. We like to use a little bit oversized systems, oversized pumps a little bit, because that way during regular rains, absolutely no problem. And during heavy storms and those tropical storms or hurricanes that come through that dump a lot of water real quick, the system is able to keep up with the amount of water so that you're not having problems during those heavy events when you really need it the most. If you have any drainage needs, or are you wanting to just need some help, feel free to reach out to Trufam Drainage, and we'd be happy to come by and go over solutions with you. Hope you have a great day.